The way we talk about anxiety directly impacts how anxious we feel. With that in mind, in this video, I'm going to be listing the 5 words and phrases that you're probably using that are currently exacerbating your anxiety, and that if you stop saying them, will drastically reduce it. Let's do it. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, I'm Tim Box. I'm a mind coach, and for the last 12 years or so, I've been working with people to help them overcome all sorts of emotional and psychological issues, and in particular, helping them get control of anxiety. Now, every day on social media and in my one-to-one clinic, I hear people describing anxiety and their experience of it in such a way that only exacerbates how anxious they feel and robs them of any agency and emotional control. But these mistakes in the language and terminology we're using to describe anxiety can be easily corrected, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So in no particular order, here are the 5 words and phrases to avoid using when talking about anxiety and what to use instead. When I get an inquiry from a potential client, I would estimate that nearly 50% of those people will at some point say something along the lines of, "I have anxiety." We need to stop doing this. Anxiety isn't something we have. It's like saying, "I have anger" or "I have fear." We simply don't use that parlance. We say, "I feel angry" or "I'm afraid." We say that because we're describing our own feelings and emotions, and really, that's the important point here. Anxiety is an emotion. If we say "I have anxiety," then we treat it like it's something other than ourself that we have acquired or been afflicted with. We give that feeling more power than it warrants, and we give up any agency we have. Now, I understand that when we say to someone, "I have anxiety," it might help them understand why we're not going to make it into work today, or why we left last night's event early. But don't make the mistake of thinking that this does you any favors. It just perpetuates the high anxiety response and makes you a victim of your own feelings. Instead, try describing anxiety as the way you feel rather than a thing that you have. I'll often hear people refer to a shortness of breath, a tight chest, or hot and sweaty palms as a symptom of anxiety. Let's be clear here. The word symptom refers exclusively to signs of illness or disease. As already stated, anxiety isn't a disease, it's an emotion. All the time we list our physical responses to it as symptoms, we simply perpetuate the confusion in our subconscious that there is something medically wrong with us. Aside from this, the physical reactions people describe aren't signs of anxiety. They're natural and healthy physical responses to fear. The reason we feel them so much and relate them to anxiety is because we've started to regard anxiety as an illness, and now whenever we do the perfectly natural thing of feeling anxious from day to day, we become scared that we are simply becoming more and more ill. Instead of calling them symptoms, maybe try referring to them as indicators, signs, or responses. When it comes to anxiety or panic, the word attack is entirely incorrect and potentially misleading. Anxiety doesn't attack us. It's actually a part of our mind trying to protect us from harm. Neither is it something that happens to us. It's something our mind is deliberately doing to attempt to steer us to safety. We generally only refer to it as an attack because it feels uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, and it seems to be happening outside of our control. However, in these instances, the way it feels is not the way it is. Now, I've actually done a full video about how anxiety feels completely different to what's actually going on, and I'll link to that at the end of the video, so you can take a deeper dive into this one. But for now, instead of referring to panic or high anxiety as an attack, simply speak of it more like a false alarm from a part of you that really cares. Disorder is a word I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with. Technically speaking, it's entirely correct to refer to an anxiety response that feels inappropriately high as disordered, but that's not because disorder is synonymous with illness, it's because the strict definition of disorder is a state of confusion. When our anxiety response seems to be misfiring and getting out of hand, it's simply because our subconscious has become confused about what the appropriate and necessary emotional response actually is. But even though it's an accurate term, I encourage you to stop referring to anxiety as your disorder, as if it's some kind of permanent state of being. The way we think, feel, and respond is always temporary. What we might recognize as an anxiety response that is currently disordered can be returned to order simply by clearing up whatever confusion has occurred in the subconscious. Instead of referring to the way you respond as a disorder, instead think of it more as an issue that you're in the process of sorting out. The number of times I hear clients refer to their anxious thoughts or the severity of their anxious feelings as irrational. I even hear anxiety professionals describe anxiety as able to strike at any time for no reason. This does our subconscious a huge disservice and simply perpetuates the misunderstanding that your mind has in some way gone wrong or is broken. The word irrational means for no reason. And the way you respond is never for no reason. There's always a reason why you think, feel, and behave in the way you do. Now, it might not always be the most logical reason. After all, the subconscious is more imaginative than logical, and a lot of the beliefs held in that part of our mind are based on things we learnt from an early age when logic wasn't our specialist subject. However, if we stop thinking of anxiety as irrational, then we can at least stop living in fear of some debilitating anxiety response striking out of nowhere. And we can also stop thinking that the reason we feel anxious is because we're broken. So, ditch the term irrational. At worst, our emotional responses can at times be illogical. But that's okay. We're all illogical at times. It's not a sign of malfunction and more a natural effect of pressure and stress. So there you have it, my top 5 words and phrases that might well have caused you to feel more anxious than you need to. But now, it's over to you guys. Have you been using any of these phrases to describe anxiety? Are there any others I might have missed off of this list? Try ruling some of those out of your vocabulary for a while. Let me know how you get on, and as always, leave any questions you might have in the comments below. I really hope this video has been of value. Please hit that thumbs up button if you like what I do, and why not subscribe to the channel for weekly mind management tips and anxiety advice. Also, you can now become a member of the channel and receive extra content every week, including video tutorials of my full system for change with extra insights and exclusive weekly live streams. Just hit the join button on the homepage. But that's it for now. I'm Tim Box, Mind Coach. Always remember to be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.